Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Now in this video we will be looking at a very easy way to make a single pinch pleat curtain panel. And we are going to begin by making a template. So let's get started. In order to make our template, we will need a straight edge, a piece of cardboard wide enough, or Bristol paper. That's what I'm using here. And we'll also need a pen, a pencil, or a marker, a fine tip marker. So what we'll do is line up our straight edge on the Bristol paper, and then we'll start marking. Now we are going to start our pleat 2 inches from the edge of the curtain panel. Therefore, we'll mark off 2 inches. Then our pleat will be a 1 inch deep pleat. So we'll go ahead and mark off 2 inches. Our next mark will be for the space between the pleats, and we are using 3 inches space. So that mark is at 7 inches. Then pleat at 9 inches, space 12 inches, pleat 14 inches. So you see what we're doing. We start with the 2 inches from the edge, then we did pleat, space, pleat, space, pleat. Now we are doing space, then pleat, and space. If you want, you can go ahead and just put your little notes here, just so you know what you have here. So I can go ahead and just write P for pleat, S for space, P for pleat, S for space, P for pleat, S for space. That's how we go. Okay, now yeah, this is way too big to maneuver, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut off the part that we have marked to use as our template. There we go. So now I'll go ahead and I will cut this strip off here. Now, depends on if you decide to make your pleats deeper, then your pleat would be whatever measurement you decide. If you decide to make your spaces closer, then you make the adjustments to make your template. Now we have our little template here. We're going to put it aside just for a bit, and then we're going to start working on this fabric panel that we have here. Now I am going to be doing double hems on the side, and I am choosing to do a 2-inch double hem on each side. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to mark off 4 inches using my little measuring gauge. Mark off 4 inches. There we go. And I am going to press in the seam into the fabric. Down here, let's just make sure it's 4 inches. There we go. Let's make sure I'm all good. Yep. So we press. Okay, so now I'm gonna turn this back, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold the fabric back to the seam I just pressed into the fabric, and I'm going to go ahead and press. I will link a video for you to show you this method that I used to do the double hem, because this is the easiest way to do your double hem. The easiest way. Now I have pressed in my 2-inch double hem. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put a couple pins in. I'll put 3. Okay, now I'll do the same on the other side. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna stitch both side hems, and then we'll get to the top hem. Now the side hems have been stitched. Let's do the top hem. Now generally I recommend that you use a 4-inch double hem, but what I'm going to do here is use a 3-inch double hem because I am doing a shorter panel. So if you're doing a shorter panel, you can make adjustments. You don't necessarily have to go ahead and do a 4-inch double hem. For example, if you're doing a valance, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to measure off for the 3-inch double hem. So I am measuring 6 inches. My gadget is 6 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and measure 6 inches. Always stitch your side hems and then your top hem. Now I'll go ahead and stitch the top hem. Now we are ready to form our pleats. We're going to flip this on the right side. We're going to take our template, put it to the edge of the panel. Then you can either use a piece of tailor's chalk to mark your spots, or you can use pins. So I'm going to go ahead and put in some pins. So I'll put in a pin for each mark. I'm ending here now with my last pin for now. And this is what we'll do. We'll take the panel and we will put the 2 pins together for the pleat. Trying to put it to make sure that you guys can see it. There we go. And then I'll just go ahead and I'll just use one pin to pin both layers of fabric together. I can take out the other one. Our next pleat, it's the same thing. We go ahead and we put both. We'll go ahead, put both together. We can take out the extra pin, so you can see that's how we're forming our pleats. I'm going to go ahead and pin all the pleats that we have marked so far, and then I'll stitch, and then we'll take it from there. That's a space here, and so let's go ahead and stitch these pleats. Okay, so hold the fabric together, and we are going to stitch from the top here to the bottom of the 3-inch heading. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I will stitch now. If you think you might not be able to stitch your 1 inch straight down, what you can do is also find out by measuring where your 1 inch would be at the bottom here, and then you could mark it. Let's do the other one. So this is what I'm talking about. You go ahead and you figure out that's 1 inch there. You could just stick a pin right here, just to make sure that when you stitch from here, you will end up here at the 1 inch. Okay, I'll pull the pin. You want to snip off all the extra pieces of thread. And that's our second pleat. Now let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and do these two, and then I'll show you what's next. For your 1 inch, instead of measuring on the fabric, you could actually put a mark, like a piece of tape. Like I have a piece of tape here that I used to do something previously. You could put a piece of tape, and so you would just go down beside the tape, and then you know you're doing your 1 inch. And always line up the top of the panel here, just like so, before you start stitching, just so your curtain panel pleats are not wonky. Cool. See how our pleats are forming nicely? Okay, so the pin that we put here, this last pin here, is actually the beginning of the next pleat. So what we'll do is, remember we started with a 2-inch at the edge here. We'll start from this 2-inch. We'll put it right on this pin here. And we put our pin, and that's going to be our next pleat. And then from there, we put a pin for each mark. And then take it back to the sewing machine and stitch the other pleats. I'm just going to do that until it's done. And then you guys will see the finished product. So I'll speed up the video right now and get it done. Okay, so one of my pins just fell out. If that happens to you, just go back. You know you ended at a space, so you just line up your template and then you find where your pin fell from, and then you just go ahead and put the pin back. If you get to this point and your fabric is bulky and you find that your pleat is landing on top of your side hem, you can always just go ahead and manipulate this pleat so that it does not fall on the side hem, which will make it very bulky, just like I am doing right now. So I'm just going to manipulate the pleat. So I may end up with about 2.5 inches in the last space and then 2 inches here, but that's fine. Just like if you have to join panels to make the width that you need, if you're going to have a pleat that is going to be on top of that join, you can manipulate that pleat so that the join is in the space rather than on the pleat. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a 1-inch double hem at the bottom. This is the panel. This is what the back will look like when you are done. So your clips, let me see if I have any of them. I found some clips. And so what you would do is use these clips and you would go ahead and put them up behind the pleats. it's always a good thing to give your curtain panel a little training. Now, if you're doing a valance like this one, you may want to train it before you install it on the curtain rod. But if it is a long panel, then you can train it while it's hanging. So you basically fold your pleats. And then you use a piece of fabric and just tie the pleats together, just like so. Tie the top, because this is a shorter panel, call it a valance. We only need to have 2 pieces of fabric to tie, but if you are doing like a full length curtain, then you should tie it at least 3 places: the top, the middle, and the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is leave our lovely single pinch pleated valance to train overnight. Hey friends, so it is a new day and we left our single pinch pleat valance overnight to train. So I am going to go ahead and untie it and hang it on a rod just behind me here. Okay, so let's get started. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so before I put the rod up, I'm just gonna go ahead and put 10 of these rings on the rod because there are 10 hooks. So that's 1, 2. Now let's untie this baby. Wow, that's what you get when you train your pleats. Well-behaved pleats. I truly hope that this lesson was helpful. Please let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments below. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing and for supporting my channel. Please consider becoming a member of the channel. It's only $1.99 per month, and there are quite a bit of perks that you will benefit from if you become a member. That's a way that you can help to support my channel. Okay, thank you so much for everything. If you have not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscription button, and remember to hit the bell notification icon so you can be notified of new videos. Sending you lots of love and appreciation. I will see you in the next video.